Let's talk about citric acid, an ingredient on my caution list that has a little bit of nuance. Now, while it may sound like it comes from citrus fruits, 99% of citric acid used today is derived from black mold. I don't want you guys to get misled by brands because some brands will say, oh, our citric acid is derived from cassava or sugarcane or corn. If they say anything except citrus fruits, then that is not naturally derived citric acid, that is manufactured citric acid, and they are using the fermentation process from black mold to make that citric acid. They can call it non-GMO or whatever, it is still being made from black mold. There aren't enough citrus plants in the world to meet the demand for citric acid. There are barely any naturally derived citric acid suppliers out there. So all of them, almost all of them, are going to be made from mold. But the question still stands, is it harmful? Meh. Most of the concerns come from remaining mycotoxins and allergens being left behind after the purification process. The primary mycotoxin to be concerned about is OTA. This is classified as a group 2B carcinogen by the IARC. Group 2B means it's possibly carcinogenic to humans. It's also been linked to kidney disease in animals. Now, there was one small study done on humans that did link manufactured citric acid to increased inflammation in people that were already immunocompromised, which means they're already going to be more sensitive to toxins. This is the only evidence that we have of manufactured citric acid causing any harm to humans. Seeing to how this ingredient is so prevalent in product formulation, whether it's food, home cleaning, or skincare, and this is the only evidence that has ever been found in the last 100 years of it causing harm to humans, I would say that this is probably not an ingredient to be super worried about. If you're avoiding ultra-processed foods from your diet, then you're already eliminating most of your citric acid exposure. And then when it comes to skincare, my personal preference is to try to avoid it as much as possible, but it will not make me reject a product just because it has citric acid. I might look for a brand that is using the non-GMO version. Now, choosing the non-GMO version does not eliminate the risk of mold contaminants being left behind, but what it does communicate to me is that this is a brand that is interested in choosing high quality ingredients in their products, and so they're not just choosing the cheapest citric acid out there. Manufacturers have been making citric acid for decades, so I'm not super worried that they don't have the purification process down. I would just simply suggest make sure that if you do choose a product with citric acid in it, that you are buying from a brand that you trust. If you're interested in learning more about ingredients, you can check out our ingredient library, which is linked in my bio. I give explanations, give my own opinion, and most importantly, I link to the studies and the sources that I use to form my opinion so that you can read those from reputable sources like the NIH and other reputable publications, and you can make your own informed decisions about whether or not these are ingredients that you want to allow in your products.